Thank you for joining us. I'm Mary Yanez, Director of the Senior Adult Program at the El Paso Community College. And as you can see, we're still virtually coming to you into your homes, from our homes, and recording our Mature Living show. We have a great show planned out for you today. We're still in February, kind of rounding off the end of February, but we have good information for you. And so our first guest today, we have Yvette Lugo, who is the director of the Area Agency on Aging, and she's got something rolling out slowly, but I know it's going to be pretty active for them. She wants to give us an update on what Area Agency on Aging is doing to help our seniors in this community. Welcome, Yvette. How are you doing?
Good, thank you, Mary. How are you?
Doing great. A little technical difficulties, but you know what? What else is new? We're just having a good time with this pandemic and how it has changed our lives, hasn't it?
Yes, absolutely. That's I think that's one of the biggest things and probably the biggest challenges we've seen for ourselves, but also for older adults. And that
Yes,
sometimes navigating things through these new systems can be a bit challenging.
absolutely. In particular with those seniors that are not familiar with technology, with using their smartphones, or if they have a smartphone, if they have emails, if they have equipment, tools that we need. We are giving classes online, and we're showing them how to use their devices. So hopefully our classes, if they'll call us at the Community College Senior Adult Program, we will be able to enroll in some of these classes. But what are you all doing to help our seniors this day?
Well, there's a couple of things. I mean, obviously with the pandemic and now with the vaccine being available, noticing that some seniors, with just kind of working with what's available at this point with our city officials and UMC, registering for vaccines, especially for older adults, can be a bit daunting if they're not tech savvy, if they don't have access to the internet, even as simple as not having an email address. So in early conversations when these things were being rolled out, of course, we're trying to be good advocates for older adults and just saying, this for some people that may not be an option. And at least they're hearing us and trying to make adjustments. But for the meantime, we felt it was important that Area Agency on Aging make themselves available to help those older adults who do not have access to the internet. Say maybe they don't have an adult child that could help navigate these systems for them. I know personally I had to do that for my dad,
Yes.
just trying to get him registered and get those things going for him. So for those older adults that don't have those other options, we would then be able to serve in that capacity. And so we're trying to help older adults register through the City of El Paso's website. That's obviously taking registrations on a daily basis. People can register. However, one of the required fields is an email address or a cell phone number with texting capabilities. And I understand that the city is obviously using their technology to be able to communicate when you have an appointment, when your appointment time is coming up. And so, yes, we're embracing the technology, but for some seniors, that may not be an option. So we're trying to fill that void for them.
Yes, and I'm wondering how seniors are finding out about your services. Is it going to explode where you won't be able to serve everybody? You'd have to have a calling center or something.
I know.
A call center, with a lot of staff, a lot of volunteers. Tell me how you're managing that. I know it's something new you're trying, and that's so wonderful that you all have stepped up to do this. I hadn't thought about that until I heard that you were trying to help seniors that don't have an email to be able to register for the vaccine, which is so important right now for those elders that are doing the super seniors these days, the 75 years and older. Can you imagine that generation trying to register online? Or, it's just daunting to me even to think about.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that the city of El Paso is recognizing that perhaps that may not be the best solution, but at least it's a big solution to be able to try to get as many people in our community vaccinated. Starting with the specific groups that are designated at this point. UMC is also trying their best to hear, and like you mentioned, them designating a specific day to register super seniors. So there are things that are slowly starting to come out because people are realizing that it may not work for our most vulnerable population, which are those older adults that we're identifying. So how it's working, we're we first started with our clientele. Of course, you know, Area Agency on Aging helps to support the meals program here in town at the senior centers when people used to be able to come to the senior center and have their noontime meal, as well as the meals that are delivered to people's homes. Those are funds that we have and we receive to help bring that type of assistance to our community.
And
so
those
we
are
started,
thousands, are those
yes,
thousands of seniors?
yes. So
Um,
we started with that group of older adults to say, let's check our roles. Let's find those people who are still coming out to the senior center to say, maybe, you know, at least we know they would have transportation. So if they are interested in registering, encouraging them to do that, but if they don't have someone to help them do that, then we would serve in that capacity. So we've started to identify those and are working to do that for them. Working also in partnership with UMC, again, to help identify those older adults that are living outside the city limits, again, through our nutrition programs, looking at saying if we can work in coordination with those people who live outside the city limits within El Paso County. Again, so we're surveying those clients, finding those that want to be vaccinated, and then working through the kinks of helping them get through that. So that's how we've started. We're starting to receive calls from the community, especially through our partners at 211. If they are screening and identifying people who, again, don't have that person to help them navigate and register online, then they're sending them to us. So it's a slow opening, but one that obviously, if that's what we're called to do and serve at this point, then that's what the agency needs to do.
Wonderful. You're also working with caregivers, right? To assist caregivers. And when you're a caregiver for a homebound elder, that's a difficult thing also to be able to get the vaccine.
Very true. You know, again, in our conversations with city officials, with UMC, and just trying to help them, again, remember that there are those homebound seniors, you know, persons that maybe perhaps it would be difficult for them to leave their homes for whatever reason. And so we're still in talks, you know, we're still trying to make sure that at least people remember that there are those people who reside. And they are. I believe the city and UMC officials are very sensitive to that. You know, there would be other logistical things that we are talking to, but, you know, as an agency, we are trying to make sure that we be that voice to remind people that we still have very vulnerable people in our communities. As you know, Area Agency on Aging doesn't just serve El Paso County. We reach out all the way out to Brewster County, Presidio, you know, those parts of far west Texas. And so we're also trying to make sure those parts of our region, excuse me, have and are accessing that vaccine too. So we're really trying to be a good advocate. You know, we obviously have nothing to do and no control over how the vaccine is then rolled out or how you receive it or how you are contacted. Yeah. But again, just trying to be that voice and make sure that people don't forget older adults.
And I'm sure the information you're gathering is going to be very helpful for the city, for University Medical Center, for anybody that's distributing the vaccine. You're really collecting very valuable information for them as well. What the issues are, what the problems are. What is the phone number that you're giving, so that if someone is alone and needs assistance to register, not to do anything other than what the providers are doing, the providers of the vaccine, what is the number you're giving, and who's helping you with all this?
Well, we have obviously designated Area Agency on Aging staff. At this point, our information and referral specialists who receive the calls in the first place, that when people call our agency asking for specific information or assistance, those are the call takers that are helping at this point. And so the number is just the number to the agency, 533-0998. And again, trying to field those calls to make sure, screening out for if someone else, because the catch here too is because there is an email address and we're utilizing one that we have here at the agency that we've created specifically for this, is then the follow-up. Because that email address will be then sent the appointment time. So we have to make contact with the client and say, this is your choice. So I understand with the city, you're given a choice of appointments. So again, the follow-up commitment to then contacting that client again and saying, okay, Mrs. So-and-so, Mr. So-and-so, here's your option, let us know. And then we confirm that appointment. So it's a commitment, but again, we're trying to do our best to make sure if this is how we're called to serve at this point, then that's what we're going to do.
It's wonderful. So that's area code 915-533-0998.
Yes.
Just to repeat, do you have other programs and other things to talk to us about today and share?
Sure. I mean, we're still operating, obviously, at this point. Everything that we are doing and conducting is either here virtually, like we're doing now, or over the phone. And so we're still open for business. I think our biggest challenge, like we talked about learning technology, is continuing to roll out our evidence-based programs. And so we have a staff member that's doing this all over the phone, whereas before we used to be out in the community, at churches, at libraries, at our senior centers, and now we're doing this over the phone. The programs that we're doing, we have three that we're new programs that we're doing now, are all about health and wellness, of course. We have one that's called Walk with Ease. It's a program that's been developed through the Arthritis Foundation, and so it's just basically encouraging people to, interject the basic act of walking as a means to stay active and healthy. We also have a program that looks at someone's medications. It's called Home Meds. And what it is, it assesses people, particularly those clients we're identifying that take 5 or more medications, and screening for that, because we find that clients who typically take more than 5 medications may have an interaction between their medications. And so this program works closely with a pharmacist who then screens for that after we've gathered the information on the medication. So it's still programs that are being able to be done and offered to the community just over the phone.
It's wonderful. We're all doing things so differently these days in serving our community. We haven't had any large events, almost for a year now. It's difficult. The seniors want to gather. They wish they had the Love Conference like we always have. And you've been with us for so many years at the conference and reaching out and doing your outreach work.
Right.
We miss that. And the seniors miss it quite a bit. But hopefully we will get back to semi-normal in the future if we all do what we're supposed to be doing. And that is taking those extra precautions of distancing and just we keep repeating it. Is like, how many times do we have to say, wash your hands, distance, don't be in crowds, wear your masks.
Right.
Anything else that you're wanting our seniors to know about as we close our little interview here, our conversation with you, Yvette?
Sure. I mean, just to know that we're obviously here, still available to serve, even if it is just pointing you in the right direction. Sometimes it just requires that you have a question, you have a concern. We try our best to make sure we can either connect you to that resource, or if we happen to be that resource, then we're going to try our best to help and serve those needs as well.
Well, you and your staff are doing a fantastic job. I've known you for so many years. I'll be at your meetings to try to help. We'll help you in whatever way we can through our Mature Living Show, through our senior adult program. And definitely this outreach is really, really an important aspect of how we serve our elderly. Try to get to them and make sure they get the accurate information so that they can access services. Thank you so much for being with us today. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Mary. I appreciate you as well. Stay well.
Good. Stay well.
Hi, my name is Yvette Lugo. I'm the director for the Area Agency on Aging. Our mission is to try to help older adults stay as independent and in the communities for as long as possible, as well as helping to support family caregivers in their role as caring for their aging loved ones. Our agency offers a variety of services and supports that can help in a variety of situations, everything from basic information and referral to help in the home. We encourage you to please call our office at 533-0998 so that we can try to assist you with your needs. Thank you.
Thank you for staying with us here on Mature Living. We have another guest for us that's bringing a lot of good information for us, Miss Angela Mora. She's the Public Health Director for the City of El Paso. And I really can't believe that we got her. She's a very busy person these days. And, I'm so glad she's able to join us here on Mature Living.
My pleasure. Thank you for the invitation.
I'm so glad that she could be with us. It's a very important job to tackle this big pandemic and distribution of vaccines and testing. And so we're really proud of the work that the city's doing. And so we want to welcome you, Ms. Mora. Thank you for being with us.
Well, first of all, we've never seen a pandemic of this proportion in the world. And in El Paso, of course, we're not the exception. It has shaken us all from the beginning. It's going to be 1 year already when we started getting ready and responding to the pandemic. We have gone nonstop, working 7 days, pretty much 24/7 for a whole year. We don't know what weekends are. We have very gladly responded to all the needs of the community. We are not perfect. We are changing, the course of the response as the need arises. And we are just trying to do the best we can, and we strive for perfection. That's the city manager's motto. We strive for perfection, and we really do. So if something doesn't work at one point, we know that, or rest assured that we are working on everything that is possible for us to make that work and very community friendly, because we want to provide excellent customer service. We still refer to that during the pandemic. So we just want to respond the best we can, and we have done it for a whole year already, and we will continue until we see the end of the pandemic. It is a pandemic like we've never seen before. So we at this point, we have learned a lot of lessons. We have a lot of best practices that other states and other cities are emulating. And we now, with the increased vaccines and, trying to refine the system, this is another step, another challenge that we are tackling. And we are very confident that we are going to be able to move very smoothly until we see the end of the pandemic.
That is so great. One of my questions is, how do you juggle? And I know you're working with federal and state vaccine distribution plans. And I know they're probably also being flexible and making adjustments as they go. One of the things that's tough for me is to be able to juggle the putting out the vaccine, making sure that it gets into the arms of our community, and also the COVID testing at the same time. And that is just a difficult job. And so how do you work with the federal and state plans?
Yeah, so we are very, very in close communication with the federal and the state governments, primarily the state government. We are familiar, we're following the distribution plan that the federal government set for the states, and the states for the jurisdictions such as El Paso. So there's the distribution plan is to roll out in 3 phases. We know that the first phase that we're going through right now, we have extremely limited number of vaccines because there's only 2 pharmaceutical companies producing the vaccine. There's 4 more in line to produce a vaccine, but they are still conducting clinical trials. We just have 1 new one coming on board, which is the Johnson & Johnson, but it's not approved yet. So that is the reason that priority groups had to be set for the first phase. Again, we are going through the first phase because we have to prioritize the populations that are considered the most vulnerable as per the federal and the state governments, for them to receive the vaccine first. So the second phase, we expect more pharmaceutical companies to have been approved to produce the vaccine, and then the influx of vaccines should be greater. So as we move along into the second phase, there's going to be other priority groups identified. But then at the end of the second phase, we believe that there's going to be already 4 or 5 pharmaceutical companies producing the vaccine. And at that point, perhaps there's not going to be the need to prioritize communities anymore. And anybody who wants the vaccine is going to be able to take the vaccine at the end of the second phase and beginning of the third phase. So the first phase it started in December, and it's supposed to end when we have vaccinated all the priority groups, the 1A and 1B that you have been hearing about. Then we can move into the following phase, or the following group. The state has not defined who is going to be, or if there's going to be a group 1C, but we will move along to the next priority populations, which are going to be most likely essential workers. So the second phase is estimated, the time frame is estimated to be like from beginning of March to perhaps June. That's another large number of population that we have to vaccinate. And then the third phase is supposed to be in June or July, and it will go all the way to September or October. And by that point, then we should be able to have a lot of local providers providing the vaccine to the public and vaccinating everybody. Hopefully, everybody, with exception of children, will be able to vaccinate. So that is the state and the federal plan to roll out the vaccine in 3 phases. And the phases begin December 2020, and they should end in October of 2021. So we still have a long way to go. Right now, as you know, we're dealing with extremely shortage of vaccine, and those are the pains that you're seeing right now that everybody's dealing with all over the country.
And so if El Paso is doing a great job in getting the vaccines into the arms of our citizens, our community, do we get more vaccines if we show that we're doing a great job?
We have shown that we're doing a great job because we administer the vaccines very quickly. That's a plus for the city of El Paso. But there's limitations because the states in general, they receive an allocation of vaccines on a monthly basis based on population. So it doesn't, if everybody's moving really fast and there's still a shortage of vaccine at the federal level, the states will keep receiving just the allotment of vaccines that were designated to the state, in this case, the state of Texas, where they, one of the largest states, so we're receiving a larger number than other smaller states. So when we're going to receive more vaccines is when additional pharmaceutical companies begin to produce the vaccine. And I mentioned the Johnson & Johnson vaccine that is, they have submitted their application for emergency use authorization of their vaccine, which is going to be 1 dose. And they have a meeting with the FDA, Federal Drug Administration, Food and Drug Administration, to determine whether or not they're going to be approved. So we're looking at the beginning of March to have another vaccine coming into the states. Wonderful. And at that point, there's going to be more vaccines.
I wanted to ask you this question of how can we help those seniors that have already registered and have not been called, and some seniors don't even know that how to register or that they even have to register. Some don't have help, they're homebound, they don't have emails, and they have no family to help them. And so, many of them are homebound. So how are we going to help them so they won't be left out, those super seniors that we want to reach out to make sure they register and that they get their vaccine?
So that's an excellent question. We don't want any of our elders to be left behind. And we hope that with shows like yours, we'll be able to reach all of them by word of mouth, hopefully. But what we have been doing is that we have always, since the beginning of the pandemic, we have very close attention to the elderly population. We have been visible in constant presence at nursing homes, long-term care facilities, foster homes, etc. We provided testing, continue to providing testing, and now we are providing the vaccine as well. So we have already covered quite a few of those places for the elderly who live in these residential facilities. In addition to that, the state has designated the super seniors category, which is for individuals 75 years of age and older. And the city of El Paso, what we are doing is that we are identifying all the individuals, all the seniors for this matter, who register with the age of 65 and over. And we're selecting the ones that are 75 and up, and we are pulling them out and prioritizing them. So we are going to, we started already setting 20% aside of every allocation that we receive at the city of El Paso, vaccine allocation. Then we're setting aside 20% for us to exclusively vaccinate the super seniors. And right now we are enrolling, as we speak, we are enrolling individuals who are 90 years of age and up. And then once we capture all of them, every place that we can get into, then we're going to go down to 85 and up, and then 80 and up, and so on and so forth. So we have at the city of El Paso, if an individual doesn't have internet access, they can call the hotline, which is 212-6843. And somebody will speak English and Spanish, and we can have service for any other language.
Yeah.
They can call there and be asked to be registered while they are on the phone. So the operator is going to fill out the application and submit it, and they will be calling that individual to let him know when they have an appointment for a vaccine. So we are also going to the senior centers, the city's senior centers. We are right now at Hilos de Plata. We are opening up Hilos de Plata and Pavo Real for the elderly population that receive services there to be registered to receive the vaccine. We are also calling all the members from those senior centers just to make sure that if they have not received the vaccine, for us to enroll them. And also what we are going to do, starting today, we are going with the meals program for the senior centers. We're going to see individuals who are homebound, and we're going to register there for the vaccine. And we are identifying the super seniors so that we can, for the homebound, we are going to send a team to provide the vaccines at home for them.
Yeah.
And we are also going to try to take vaccines to the senior centers to vaccinate the individuals we enrolled at those facilities. Wonderful. And we're just thinking of whatever means possible for us to reach that beloved population of ours.
Very good. I want you to know that I'm in that category with the super seniors, and I recently got my first vaccine. I was fortunate to be called with the group UTEP and EPCC employees and super seniors. I had been on a list at UMC and with the city of El Paso, but I never received a call, and I had been on the list since December. And so, but we do want to encourage everyone to get their vaccine. And I was fortunate that I had no side effects at all, very successful. And so we want you all to get your vaccine. And there hasn't been much problems. I don't think there's been many problems with side effects. What do you think, Ms. Mora?
Absolutely. I'm a senior myself. I'm not a super senior yet, but I took the first and the second dose. I took the Moderna vaccine, and the side effects were a little bit of tiredness on the following day. And the second dose, I just had tiredness on the second day again. But by the third day, I was up and running as usual. Nothing major.
And lastly, we want to encourage everyone to register, sign up, call this number, call the city. The number is area code 915-212-6843. And we want you to register. Remember, get on a list, get your vaccine. It is really important. We want to reach over 75% of El Pasoans to be vaccinated so we can protect our entire community. And so we thank you, Ms. Mora, for being with us. We thank you very much. Our elders and family members watch this program, and we expect you will join us again as our guest and to share some more information with all of us. We want good news, okay? We want all the good news.
Anytime you invite me, I'm here for you.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed this show today. We've gotten a lot of good information, and we want to remind you all to stay safe. We'll see you all next week.